Hey guys, welcome to a new video. In today's video, we're going to talk about the best Pokemon in Season 18 and which Pokemon you can use to rank up. Obviously, we are starting with Miraidon. I think Miraidon is one of the best Pokemon to rank up. Obviously, you need to pay for it to play it for now, because you cannot unlock it unless you pay for it. The Charge Beam build and the Parabolic Charge is, in my opinion, the best build to rank up in Miraidon. Having the Charge Beam, but also having the Parabolic Charge, charging the Charge Beam is so oppressive. I like to play Spoon whilst there's choice specs. It's a typical attacker build, and with the eject button you can reposition yourself and be a bit more mindful about your position. Next up is Mewtwo. I think Mewtwo is one of the best characters to rank up as well. We are playing Spoon, Muscle Band, and Rapid Fire Scarf with eject button. Obviously, like Mewtwo Y is the next Pokemon. You wanna play Psy Strike and Teleport. You can use your Psy Strike and Teleport to reposition yourself with the Teleport. And Psy Strike is just really oppressive. And Mewtwo Y, obviously another X Pokemon that is just really good to rank up with. For the EV evolutions, I think Glaceon is a really good Pokemon to rank up with. Obviously, the Glaceon Icicle Spear Ice Shot build is so strong. You're just getting one-shotted with the Icicle Spears. It's so oppressive, and you can play it as well to rank up. It's pretty easy to use, and you have 100% accuracy when you hit it right. So you play Spoon, Anti-Heal, and Vice Classes. With the Anti-Heal, you can prop the Icicle Spears and prop Anti-Heal the entire time on the enemies. Just really strong. With Spoon, you also shred the special defense. And with eject button again, just to reposition yourself and the Icicle Spears. In my opinion, Gardevoir is also a really good Pokemon to rank up with. I would say you want to play Gardevoir in the central area, just because of the fact that if you play Amplifier with the recent buffs, you have an 89-second cooldown on your Unite move, and you can just spam your Unite move 24/7, right? And every minute you can at least spam one Unite move, so having Spoon, Amplifier, and Vice Classes is just really strong. I like to play the Psy Strike and the Psy Kick build. I think it's better. Psy Strike, my bad. But you can also play Future Sight and Moonblast, but I think the Psyshock Psychic build is more oppressive. And again, eject button to reposition yourself. Next up is Inteleon, Snapshot, and Felstinger. I think Liquidation is also fine, but Liquidation got a huge nerf, and Snapshot is the more consistent build. The better you get with the Snapshot hitting and the range, then you will be dominating games with the Snapshot build. You obviously play Spoon, whilst there's choice specs. The obvious, build for attackers. You also want to play eject button. You can play it in the top lane path, mid path, or bottom path. I recommend to go bot lane side or to the central area. In the central area you get level 7 faster, but on the bottom path you can also kill the enemies. Next up we have Venusaur. Venusaur Solar Beam with the Giga Drain build. It's a pretty consistent build against a lot of matchups. Spoon, Amplifier, and Anti-Heal. Obviously Anti-Heal again to Anti-Heal the enemies when they have Clefable, for example. Amplifier to do massive amount of damage if you not move. And Spoon to spread the special defense as well. You can play Sludge Bomb if you don't play against Speedsters, but Giga Drain is just in general really good. You're also playing the eject button. On attackers, eject button is just really good. You can play full here when you play the Giga Drain and Petal Dance build, but for the Solar Beam build, I think eject button to reposition your Solar Beam or reposition yourself is pretty good. Another EV evolution to carry with in SoloQ as an attacker is the Stored Power Psy Beam build. I think Stored Power Psy Beam is pretty great. I don't like Future Sight anymore. I think Future Sight is inconsistent. Psy Beam has a good secure in lane. With the Stored Power build, you can obviously use Stored Power to one-shot enemies. It's better to use it against Speedsters. You can also play it against Mages, but when you play against Mages, you can also play Psyshock. We are playing Spoon, Vice Classes, and Anti-Heal again. The prop Anti-Heal, you can play Choice Specs instead of the Curse Essence build. But I think Anti-Heal is pretty great, just in general. Obviously, when draft comes out or when you get a draft game, you can decide if you want to play Anti-Heal or not. And we also have the eject button to reposition yourself. You don't really need full heal, you don't really need quick speed. Another attacker that I really like to play in SoloQ to carry with is the Flamethrower Poltergeist build. You want to use Poltergeist when you play against mages or Pokemon that don't really have a lot of dashes. And you want to play the Imprison build when you play against Speedstars. Or you want to just lock on the enemies, right? Imprison is better for locking on the enemies. Poltergeist is better for slowing the enemies. Again, eject button for repositioning yourself. It works really well with Poltergeist. When I play Spoon, Vice Classes, and Anti-Heal, Chandelier is one of the better Pokemon to play Anti-Heal on because he has Burning Effect. It applies the Anti-Heal multiple times in a row. Boon again for spreading the special defense, and Burst Glasses for more damage. You can play Chandelier in every path. It's a bit harder to play it in bottom or top path because you won't get to level 5 consistently if you play it in the jungle. So you could also play it in the jungle to carry. Just Flamethrower is pretty impressive. I think Overheat is also fine, but the Flamethrower has a good secure. It deals so much damage, especially in SoloQ when people run into you. Next up, we have the Defender. Slowbro is one of the first defenders that comes in my mind when you play SoloQ and you wanna win. You can play the Spoon special specs and anti-heal build for a lot of damage and consistent carry, but I would recommend you to go Expedia and Focus Band when you play Slowbro, because it's just more consistent overall. Spoon obviously helps you to shred the special defense, but Slowbro already has special defense shred in his kit, right, when he uses Swerve or Squad. You wanna use Amnesia when you play against double mages. You want to use Telekinesis when you play against Speedsters. Obviously, you can use Amnesia more often because with Amnesia you have more consistent healing. You can play Eject Button, Speed, or Potion. Potion is better with Focus Band. When you use Slack Off and you use Potion, you almost get insta for life. There's the Slowbro build. You want to play Slowbro more on the bottom path, top lane path. Don't play it in the central area because it's a defender. Revenant is one of the best carries as a defender as well with the Curse Ornish build. You can also play Pain Split. I saw a lot of people playing Curse Pain Split. I personally don't like it because I think having two abilities that will make you lose HP is not that consistent. When you play Revenant, you can play a lot of builds. You can play Attack Rate, Focus Band, Ice Cookie. You can play Ice Cookie, Focus Band, Anti-Heal. It depends on what you want to play. But when you play Curse, the most consistent thing in SoloQ is to play Attack Rate. You can play Attack with Focus Weakness, for example, as well, or Floatstone. Depends on what you want to play. Then you can play Potion, or Eject Button, or X-Speed. All of these items are good with Revenant. Potion works better with the passive, Eject Button to reposition your Ornish, and X-Speed to catch mages, right? Sometimes you can't really go to the mages because you don't have X-Speed. You can also play the Woodhammer Pain Split build, which is also a fine build, but the more consistent carry build is the Curse and Unleash. You want to play Revenant in the top lane path or bot lane path, not in the central area because it's a defender. Next up we have Umbreon. Umbreon again, an EV evolution that can carry with in SoloQ. EV evolutions are pretty oppressive and really strong. They're really good to carry with. You want to start with Fake Tears to secure in the early game. Mean Look and Wish. Mean Look and Wish is better for support build. When you want to play supportive Umbreon build, you can play Attack Weight, Floatstone, and Expedia. You can play Focus Band as well, but with Floatstone and Attack Weight you do more damage with the Mean Look, boosted auto attacks. And when you play the Defender build, you can play Focus Band, Resonant Guard, or Resonant Guard Body Barrier Expedia with bottom path. You can also play Eject Button to reposition your ultimate, but X-Speed is better to follow up. You can also play Foul Play or Snore. It depends on the matchup. When you play against a lot of 80 damage and you think Mean Look is not that good, then you can play Foul Play. To evaluate it, if you have a double mage composition, Mean Look is better. If you have no one to follow up your Mean Look, Foul Play can be better. Crustle is one of the few defenders that can also carry in SoloQ. Obviously, Crustle is right now one of the best defenders in the game, in my opinion. If you want to play the carry build, you can play Attack Rate, Scope Lens, and Weakness Policy. You can play X-Attack, you can play X-Speed, you can play Full Heal, you can play Eject Button. It depends on what you want to play. You want to use Surge Mass and X-Scissor. If you want to play the Defender build with Crustle, however, you want to play Expedia, Focus Band, and Resonant Guard. You can play Body Barrier as well. Both are fine. For example, if you play against an Umbreon, you want to play Resonant Guard. And if you want to play against a non-Umbreon, you want to play Body Barrier. You can play it in the top path and the bottom path. You want to use Rock Tomb and X-Scissor. It's a really good thing. You can also play Stealth Rock with Anti-Heal, but it's a bit inconsistent, so I wouldn't recommend that. For Blastoise, you can play Hydro Pump Surf. For the carry build, I like to use Spoon, Muscle Band, and Focus Band. The most consistent build on the Surf Hydro Pump build. You don't play Amplifier anymore. Back in the day, you used to play Amplifier, but not anymore. So when you play Surf and Hydro Pump, you can play it against mages, a lot of attackers. And if you play against Speedsters, for example, you can play Hydro Pump Rapid Spin. Hydro Pump Rapid Spin is pretty good into Speedsters because you can cancel them, you can stun them, and it's pretty oppressive. You can also play the Water Sport Rapid Spin build. This is against double mages or Clefable. And you can play Anti-Heal as well. For example, Anti-Heal Spoon, or you can play Special Specs Spoon, which is also fine against like mages. Special Specs is really good with water sport, but sometimes you can't stack. I mean, the most consistent way of stacking is in SoloQ, so you can play Special Specs, but Until is also an option that you can play on Blastoise. Next up, we have the Speedsters, Miascarada, one of the few Pokemon that you can carry with in SoloQ. You can play with Leaf Edge at the beginning, that's a great secure, deals damage. You can play Flower Trick Double Team, or you can play Night Slash and Trailblaze. For the Flower Trick and Double Team build, you wanna play Attack Weight, Charging Charm, Razor Claw. You can also play Muscle Band instead of Charging Charm, but you can also play Weakness Policy instead of Charging Charm, for example, as well. For example, if you wanna play Attack Weight and Weakness Policy, it scales well with Flower Trick, and when you get your Attack Weight stacks, the Flower Trick deals a lot of damage, and the Explosion also deals a lot of damage. So it scales really well with Attack Weight. You can play Eject Button, fully X speed, depending on the comp. You wanna play Eject Button most of the time, because it's more consistent. You can also play Shinichi Doll, using the Shinichi Doll into Ultimate when your passive drops, and then you get full life again. When your passive drops and you activate your Ultimate, you get 20% more life steal, but also 20% more damage. So a lot of different options. When you play the Night Slash and Trailblaze build, I like to play Muscle Band, Rapid Fire Scarf, and Razor Claw. I think it's a pretty good build as well. On the next Speedster, we have Solar Blade Leafeon with Aerolace. You can play Aerolace or Leaf Blade. I would recommend you to play Leaf Blade when you play jungle, and when you play in the lane, Aerolace is pretty good. Because with Aerolace, you can reposition yourself in lane. It's hard for the enemies to catch you, and you can use Solar Blade to secure farm. I would recommend you to play Attack Weight, Charging Charm, and Amplifier, and you always want to play Eject Button. The only way you want to play Foliar is when you play against an Urshifu or a lock-on icon like Sabina as well, right? Because if you get ultimated by Urshifu, the defense is just going to get one-shotted. So Foliar is an option, but Eject Button is better for repositioning yourself, reposition your Solar Blade, using your Unite move and repositioning your Unite move. So Leafeon is a one of consistent Pokemon as well. I haven't tried Razor Leaf as much. I think Solar Blade is more consistent, so I don't recommend you guys to play Razor Leaf. It's a bit harder to play, and Solar Blade is just way easier to play and to rank up in SoloQ. Next up, we have Doduo. I think when you play Doduo, you want to play in the central area. When you play SoloQ, it's pretty easy to stack with Doduo. I would recommend you to play, when you play Tri-Attack, the Charging Charm, Razor Claw, Attack Weight build with Jump Kick or Agility. You want to play Agility when you play against Lock-On icon again, Urshifu Unite moves Arena, because then you can cancel it, or Wigglytuff, or Clefable, and Jump Kick just in general. If you practice the builds, you can play a lot of different builds of Doduo, right? So this is the build I use on Doduo when I play the Tri-Attack. When I play Drill Peck and Jump Kick, I play Resonant Guard instead of Charging Charm. My reasoning is, when I play the Drill Peck build and I play Charging Charm, I'm just getting one-shotted when I play Drill Peck. I'm engaging with my Drill Peck. The moment I engage, I'm just getting one-shotted. I like to play Resonant Guard instead of Ice Cookie, just because of the inconsistency of the stacks. Obviously, Doduo can stack always, but personally, I don't really like to stack with Doduo, even though I should, just because I can add so much pressure in the early game. So Attack Weight, Resonant Guard, and Razor Claw. Next up, we have Zoroark. You wanna start with Fairy Swipes in the early game from jungle, top, or bot path. I recommend you to go jungle. You can play the Fate Attack Shadow Claw build for consistent carry. You can also play Night Slash, but Night Slash is harder to play, and there's a lot of worse matchups. So I recommend you to play Fate Attack Shadow Claw with Attack Weight, Focus Band, and Weakness Policy with Foliar. I think Foliar is the most important item, because you can time your illusion and your Foliar. And when you play Zoroark, Focus Band is just really good to keep staying in the fight and just fighting. You can play Amplifier as well, or Razor Claw. Some Zoroarks are preferring that, but I wouldn't recommend you to go for that build because it's more inconsistent and then you are more squishy. Alright, next up we have the Arondas. Obviously, Zacian is one of the best carries to carry with. You can play the Sacred Sword and Agility build. You could play Metaclaw, it got buffed a lot of the times, but I think Sacred Sword is more consistent. When you play Zacian, you can play a top lane path, bot lane path, and jungle path. Obviously, Zacian got nerfed. So even if you get level 5, you won't have crit. Like, you won't have like 10% crit rate. The crit rate got nerfed in the early game, so you won't have from level 1 to level 4 any crit. So you just have to be more mindful when you play the laning phase. Just get level 5, get your stacks, get your points. You wanna play Muscle Band, Razor Claw. Obviously, Rusted Spot you cannot change, but Muscle Band and Razor Claw is good. You can also play Rapid Fire Scarf and Razor Claw, or scope lens and razor claw, but my consistent build is muscle band and razor claw with full heal or eject button. Eject button is better to reposition yourself, catch enemies, and use your ultimate as well for repositioning, but full heal is also fine with agility, because you can use agility and full heal. Technically, you can also play rough and sacred sword, but I think agility sacred sword is more consistent when you play Zacian and you want to carry in SoloQ. Next up, we have the Mewtwo X, another EX Pokemon. Obviously, when you play Mewtwo X, I would recommend you to play Psy-Strike and Recover. I think Teleport sucks with Mewtwo X. I think Psy-Strike is better than Future Sight. My reasoning is when you use Psy-Strike, you can also use your ultimate. So Psy-Strike, ultimate, and with Psy-Strike, you have better laning phase. You can farm more efficiently, and Psy-Strike scales really well with attack weight. You want to play Muscle Band, Weakness Policy, and attack weight. Muscle Band because obviously Mewtwo X is a fighter. You do a lot of A-pressing, and Muscle Band increases the damage, etc., and the objective threat. You want to play X-Speed, full heal, or eject button. I would recommend you to play X-Speed when you play Mewtwo X, just to chase the enemies, and you can use X-Speed and Psy-Strike as well to chase the enemies and deal more damage. The next Allrounder is Urshifu. I wouldn't recommend you to play Water Bear anymore. I think Water Bear sucks in SoloQ. I don't think it's easy to carry with. I think you can still play it, but it's a really bad Pokemon right now. I would recommend you to play the Wicked Blow setup in the central area. I think Urshifu in lane sucks, top lane or bot lane path. Obviously, you can get your attack rate stacks because it's SoloQ. But when you play Urshifu, you want to play attack rate, Razor Claw, and weakness policy. You could switch to attack rate with Amplifier, but because it's easy to carry with in SoloQ and get attack rate stacks, I would recommend you to play attack rate. I think eject button is a must on Red Urshifu. You can reposition your Wicked Blow. You can use Throat Chop, eject button. It is really good to catch enemies, and also reposition yourself with the Wicked Blow, also clear farm, etc. I think Metagross is also a good Pokemon to carry with in SoloQ with the Magnet-wise Hero Ball build. I wouldn't recommend you to play Meteor Mesh and Zenbat, Headbutt, just because of the fact that the cooldown is pretty long, and Hero Ball and Magnet-wise is more consistent. You want to play Attack Weight, Muscle Band, and Weakness Policy, or Attack Weight, Focus Band, and Weakness Policy, the typical Allrounder build. I would recommend you to play on the top, bottom, or jungle path. You can play top or bottom because it's easy to stack with, and when you get to level 5, you can also kill the enemies with Hero Ball. I like to play Eject Button or X-Speed. When I play Metagross, you can also play Full Heal because sometimes your ultimate gets cancelled. But in my opinion, X-Speed is the best option, just because of the fact that you can use your Hero Ball, Magnet-wise, and X-Speed. Magnet-wise is really good for movement speed. X-Speed, you have even more movement speed. And with the attack rate, your Hero Ball has a big last hit, so attack rate is pretty good. Focus Band is for just more sustainability. My personal favorite from the Allrounders is Mimikyu. I see him more as a Speedster than an Allrounder, but the Shadow Claw, Shadow Sneak build is my best carry build with Mimikyu. I like to play attack rate, Muscle Band, and Razor Claw when I play Mimikyu. You can play Ninja Doll, Full Heal, X-Speed, Eject Button. The most consistent for me is Full Heal, because a lot of people are playing a lot of CC abilities when I play against Wigglytuff, and I don't have Full Heal. It feels pretty hard to play Mimikyu. You can also play Rough, but I think Mimikyu in the central area with Shadow Claw is such an insane oppressive gank potential, and with attack rate and Muscle Band, it's just really strong, because you always want to press A and then Shadow Claw and Razor Claw to slow the enemies as well. Next up, we have Gyarados. I think with Magikarp it's pretty hard to get to Gyarados, but once you learn how to do it properly, since the recent buffs, it's easier to get Gyarados. I think Gyarados is one of the best characters to carry with in SoloQ. I prefer the Bones Dragon Breath build with attack rate, Muscle Band, and Razor Claw. I think Eject Button is one of the best builds because when you use Ultimate, you can reposition your Ultimate with the Eject Button. Gyarados in general has a really good scaling with Ultimate, Dragon Breath, Bones, so attack rate is a must. Muscle Band, when you use Dragon Breath, you attack faster, and Razor Claw just to slow the enemies. You could play Amplifier instead of Razor Claw. It's also an option, but I think Razor Claw is just really nice to have to slow the enemies and not let them escape. Obviously, Gyarados has 89-second cooldown, so you can play Amplifier as well. Alright, next up, Blaziken. Obviously, when you watch my videos, Blaziken is one of the best carries in SoloQ. Best Allrounder in the game, in my opinion. High scaling character, but you can learn it if you watch my guide. Attack rate is a must on Blaziken. He has such a good scaling with attack rate, Focus Band for sustainability, and weakness policy for even more damage. I like to play eject button. I actually only play eject button because Blaze Geek has a unstoppable move. Override is unstoppable. I think it's just great. You can play Blaze Geek on top lane path or bot lane path, but the most consistent for me is central area because I get my level 8 at 7 minutes, and then I can carry the game from there. Having the attack rate, focus band, and weakness policy with Blaziken is just really great. Buzzword, the best character in Pokemon Unite, in my opinion, right now. Buzzword, one of the strongest character. Attack rate, weakness policy, focus band. The typical all-rounder build that you can see. Eject button, I don't play full heal, you play superpower and smackdown. It has an insane scaling with attack rate, and once you get your attack rate stacks early, you're just gonna dominate the game. You wanna prioritize to get top lane path or bot lane path, get your 6 attack rate stacks in the early game, get your level 5, and then carry from there if possible. I think Dragonite is a bit weird because sometimes you can carry with Outrage, sometimes you can carry with Hyper Beam, but the most consistent way to carry is to go central area, play Muscle Band, Rapid Fire Scarf, and Razor Claw, or Muscle Band, Focus Band, and Scope Lens. You can play different items with Knight, but I think the Hyper Beam build is more consistent to carry. You can play Full Heal or Eject Button. I think both of them are fine. Full Heal against a lot of CC again, Eject Button to reposition your Hyper Beam, etc. I think Knight is a pretty strong jungler. Once you get to level 5 in the central area, you can just be pretty annoying. I think attack rate is pretty greedy, so I would prefer to play Muscle Band and Focus Band with the Scope Lens or Razor Claw instead. Scope Lens for more damage, Razor Claw for slowing. I think Nina is a great character to carry with in SoloQ as well. Alright, for the supports, I think one of the best carries to carry with in general is Clefable. I think Clefable is a great character to carry with in SoloQ, just because you can play special specs, and it's easy to stack in SoloQ obviously. You wanna play a top lane path or bot lane path, obviously not central area. I would recommend you to play special specs, XP share, and body barrier with the XP build or eject button. Just because when you play Clefable, special specs has such an insane scaling with Moonlight, and body barrier is just nice to have. So every time when you use ultimate, you give healing, you give special specs, and you give body barrier, right? Special specs gives you more healing on the Unite move as well. Even more damage, right? Hyper Beam, Hydro Pump, Close Combat, etc. Special specs is great. I think when you play Clefable, you always want to play special specs. You only play Vice classes if you think you cannot stack at all. But when you play Clefable smart, you can always get your special specs stats. So special specs, body barrier, and XP share. Obviously, it's a support, so you're gonna play XP share. XP for repositioning yourself in fights, repositioning yourself with the Moonlight, and just being faster in general. And XP also helps you with stacking. Alright, the last character on the list is the support Eldegoss. Eldegoss used to be one of the highest win rate in the game, and one of the highest win rate of the week. So Eldegoss with the Pollen Puff Cotton Spore build or Pollen Puff Cotton Guard build is really strong. When you play Eldegoss, you want to think about, do I play Cotton Guard or Cotton Spore? You want to play Cotton Guard when you play against mages. You want to play Cotton Spore if you play against double Speedsters. Leafeon and Doduo specifically, or Zoroark, Doduo. Double Speedsters, you always want to play Cotton Spore. With mages, you want to play Cotton Guard. Cotton Guard is more consistent than Cotton Spore because you get a big shield, but Cotton Spore can be really good against Super as well because you can cancel the Upa bottle. You want to play Muscle Band, Resonant Card, X-Speed with XP share. Obviously, it's a support, so you want to play XP share. You want to play it top lane path or bot lane path. I would recommend you to play it on the top lane path because it's really oppressive on the top lane path. You can play Muscle Band and Focus Band, or Muscle Band and Resonant Guard, or Muscle Band and Body Barrier. So obviously you want to play Muscle Band every time. But because with Muscle Band is really strong, the Impulse is pretty strong, the passive is really strong, so you can put the passive faster and more efficiently. So Muscle Band just helps a lot, especially because it's a support. You want to play Body Barrier if you want to protect your teammates, right? If you want to protect your teammates, you want to play Body Barrier. Resonant Guard is more consistent overall because you get it every 10 seconds. But yeah, that's it for the video. Make sure to subscribe to the video and turn on the notification bell to not miss future videos anymore.